Welcome back, NicknLex here. Thank you so much for joining me to another episode of Music with Nick. We got a new marathon today by JK. Thank you so much, JK, for sponsoring this video, for making it happen. And we got a lot of interesting, very interesting artists here we're going to cover today. But one thing that's very important, all these songs were written by Jimmy Webb, music and lyrics. So even though they are being interpreted by other artists, most of who I'm actually, well, not all of them, but three of them, two of them I'm familiar with here on this list. Maybe more, there's a lot of stuff that escapes me. But yeah, so we're gonna start it off. We're gonna call this a Jimmy Webb marathon, but we're gonna start it off with Art Garfunkel, with All I Know, from, of course, Art Garfunkel, from Simon and Garfunkel, 1973. We see a very young Art here. Really cool. I love his voice. I just love the two of them together. Never really heard him by himself, I think, but of course I know who he is. So this is from 73. Okay, so then we're gonna go with Glen Campbell, Wichita Lineman. This is from Wichita Lineman, 68. All right, and then our beautiful Linda Ronstadt, The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, from Get Closer. This is 82. Oh, beautiful. I always say that, right? Of course. Then Jimmy Webb from El Mirage album. This is If You See Me Getting Smaller, I'm Leaving. El Mirage, this is 1977. And then Richard Harris, this is MacArthur Park, Tramp, Shining. And this is from 1968. All right, so here we go. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Remember, if you like the video, you can subscribe to the channel so you get all the updates of all the videos we release. Alexia and I were working on a bunch of full albums that are going to come out soon on the Patreon. It's going to be a full, we're going to have our first 30 full albums on the channel, plus I think 15 concerts and documentaries. So there's a lot of stuff to watch if you subscribe to the Patreon. And also there's some tiers that I leave you. You can look at that by yourself. There's some options how to support the channel. But thank you so much. So let's go. Let me load this up and I'll be right back. All right, we're back, and JK, you still owe me one for making me cry last week with that beautiful song from by 9 Inch Nails, but interpreted by Johnny Cash. Hurt. Holy moly, that was a roller coaster. So it was such a roller coaster that I made Alexia do her first solo video, and that was a success story. Basically same reaction almost, but double or triple the views, of course, because it's Alexia, so I get it. Yeah, it was I was literally, when she was recording, I was in the bathroom like biting into a towel, because I could hear the music and I was still like so affected from the song, so I was just like biting into a towel to not to not make any noises, Okay, so here we go with Art Garfunkel, All I Know. Here we go. Thanks again, JK. Here we go.
I presume the song go on. It's a fine line between the darkness and the dawn. They say in the darkest night there's a light beyond, but the ending always comes at last. Endings always come too fast. They come too fast, but they pass too slow. I love you, and that's all.
Okay, let's stop because I do have to stop. But I mean, Art Garfunkel, he has such an angelical voice, you know. It reminds me a lot of, like, because he uses scales so much, like the da 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 da, you know. It reminds me a little bit of Bridge Under Troubled Water. Just the intensity of the song, it's very intense. Yeah, it's just like it gets to you, you know, like, and the lyrics are beautiful, you know. I love you, and that's all I know, you know. Beautiful. And the arrangement, just like, you know, the piano and the strings, and I mean, with a voice like that, oh, man. But it does remind me a little bit of the like a bread, da 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 da, you know, those like scales that he's doing, or I mean those where he gets those, you know, those notes. He's kind of like using them here as well. That's where he feels comfortable, of course, and that's what he does best, you know. I mean, he's just never really heard anything by him by like alone, but it's beautiful, you know. It's very, very cool. But let's give the credit where the credit is due. It was written by Jimmy Webb, which is beautiful. I love that there's I mean, like with Burt Bacharach, you know, there's so much artists who basically never wrote anything, but they're great interpreters like Linda Ronstadt, you know. But we're gonna get to her soon, so let's keep going. Wow, what an outro. Beautiful. So all these songs here that we have on this list are very short, so I'll try to find a good place to stop, because if I interrupt, you know the drill, that when I don't get into any legal trouble. So I do apologize for that, but I do have to do it if we want to keep this channel going. You know what happened to some other channels, you know, they're literally without notice, goodbye, you know. So I don't want that to happen. We just hit 67,000 today, just a couple of minutes ago. 60,001 subscribers. So I don't want that, you know, to just like get erased like that. So so let's be careful. So now we go with Glen Campbell, Wichita Lineman. Here you go. So like I said, I'm gonna try and find the best place to pause, talk a little bit about the music, but I mean, you can see it in my face, you know. If something is beautiful, I'm sure I reflect that beauty in my eyes, I think, or my whatever.
I'm a lineman for the county, and I drive the main road, searching in the sun for another overload. I hear you singing in the wire, I can hear you through the whine, and the Wichita lineman is still on the line. I know I need a small vacation, but it don't look like rain. And if it snows, that stretch down south won't ever stand the strain. And I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time. And the Wichita lineman is still on the line. And I need...
Man, there's so much goodness here. It sounds very 60s, like late 60s. It still sounds like not as crazy as the 70s. Not that I don't like crazy. Busy, you know. It still sounds very romantic. There's a lot of orchestration there. Beautiful singing, man. Beautiful singing, like guitar. Bang, 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 bang. I love it. Really cool lyrics, man. And this is insane to see because it was remastered in 2001, like 30 years after it was recorded, and now it's been another almost 30 years, you know. It's crazy. So but yeah, beautiful discovery. I've never heard of Glen before. I think he has a beautiful voice, and the whole thing just flows like beautiful, like water, like a river, you know. Very, very very, very nice to listen to, very serene, peaceful, and yeah, I appreciate it. Very, very cool. And I'm sure you guys will appreciate it even more because this is the music of your childhood, maybe, you know, when you were like 5 or so, or maybe, I don't know. You know, there's people that were born in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. Most of you guys, I guess, are born in the 60s that I've heard of, that like I am, or 50s, I think 50s. So yeah, this must have been like music that you were hearing as a teenager, so must bring you back. So let's continue. Very beautiful tune.
And I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time. And the Wichita lineman is still on the line.
Wow. Beautiful. Reminds me of Moody Blues a little bit, like the Moody Blues that we had at the house, which was the best of. It had Nights in White Satin and stuff like that, and a lot of orchestra. So every time I hear something that sounds a little bit older and it reminds me of the Moody Blues. I don't know, because Pink Floyd is not that old, and especially the Pink Floyd that I used to listen to was more from the mid 70s. So I guess the Moody Blues are older than Pink Floyd, way older. The band. So okay, now Linda Ronstadt, man, she always like, she's always top. She always nails it on the head. I love her voice. I love her. The whole everything about her. I mean, she's beautiful, but also her ability to sing any style. It's just a very raw and unique talent to be able to do mariachi, and then opera, and then rock, and then any kind of rock. She's just amazing. So let's go. The Moon is a Harsh Mistress from, this is what year? 82. Okay, so not that old. I mean, still over 40 years, but not 60s. Here we go.
See her as she flies, golden sails across the sky, close enough to touch, but careful if you try. Though she looks as warm as gold, the moon's a harsh mistress. The moon can be so cold. Once the sun did shine, and Lord, it felt so fine. The moon, a phantom rose through the mountains and the pines, and then the darkness fell. The moon's a harsh mistress. It's hard to love her well. I fell out of her eyes. I fell out of her heart. I fell down on my face. Yes, I did, and I tripped and I missed my stop, and I fell alone. The moon's a harsh mistress. The sky is made of stone. The moon's a harsh mistress. She's hard to call your
Wow. Stayed on the pedal. Yeah. I did it. I mean, what is there to say? I couldn't even pause it. I didn't have the heart to. If they block it, then I'll upload it somewhere else. But because I was like, well, I don't really have to pause, because the reaction we did to Linda Ronstadt, they took it down and we paused for like 5 minutes. So, but man, the way she took it up an octave, that just killed me there. It killed me. And the vibrato she has in her voice is so good, and it's so it's soul shattering. You know, like it's so good that it's so sad, and she sings it with so much feel, and it just like it breaks your heart at that moment. It's like, you know, but hey, I held my ground even though like water is coming out of my eyes, but it's water of it's tears of joy. It's tears of like, man, I appreciate this work. You know, I really do, with all my soul. Like, in the way she sang it, and the piano, man, the whole orchestration was beautiful. She's just it for me. It's such an honor to that you guys sometimes say, "Oh, Alexia looks a little bit like Linda Ronstadt." For me, that is like, oh my god, like, thank you. I mean, of course, I like Alexia for who she is. Like, she doesn't have to look like Linda Ronstadt. I actually like my Alexia more than Linda Ronstadt. I have a bigger crush on Alexia than I would have on Linda Ronstadt. Linda Ronstadt is very beautiful, but Alexia is more my type. So, just to get that out there. But you know, everybody has their type, and I'm sure a lot of people had a crush on Linda Ronstadt, as I've heard. But the comparison is very cute and very adorable, and I think it's very, very nice because she's a very beautiful woman. Okay, now we're gonna go with the man himself. This is Jimmy Webb. If you see me getting smaller, I'm leaving. If you see me getting smaller, I'm leaving. From El Mirage, or The Mirage, 1977. Here we go. This is also a shorter song, and then we're going to listen to Richard Harris. That is a longer one, almost 8 minutes. Here we go.
Willie, you're my constant companion. You know the light and shade. We have spent $1 million to find out what we made. We have made the maidens marvel at the things we do and say. Down, down and out, brother. Up, up and away. If you see me get smaller, I'm leaving. Don't be grieving. Just got to get away from here. If you see me get smaller, don't worry. I'm in no hurry. I got a right to disappear. God bless Philadelphia. They were standing in the lane out in front of the main point, a wet and lonely train. Who knows who they came to see? A madman full of beer, a four-piece band and a charter bus. My borderline career. If you see me get smaller, I'm leaving. Don't be grieving. I just got to get away from here. If you see me get smaller, don't worry. I'm in no hurry. I got a right to disappear.
Man, so good. I really appreciate this. You teaching all of you guys, you know, like, I know you take your time, and I've heard from various people that request these. This is very difficult to do, to put together. Also, with being there's a time restriction, and it would kill me because I've tried to put together marathons for Alexia and for you guys, and then I don't want to make them too long because a lot of people are like, hey, like it's never ending. I'm signing off, I'm leaving. Marathons don't get as many views because it is a lot of talking and a lot of music, and so, but I appreciate this, picking these songs, and I'm very much like falling in really in love with songs like this. I would never listen to this. I would have done this by myself, especially since it's older and it's very American, and not because I don't like older music or American music, but it's so out of my existence. Yeah, like I come from a totally different place, and I was just raised on totally different music. I was raised on instrumental music most of the part, classical music, and almost anything with lyrics was like, oh no, I mean, I got like that. And so I'm so happy that we got into this, like Alexia and I, that we react to music, and now it's so beautiful because I discover all this beautiful music that I would have never listened to. Never. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of names that I've never heard, and it's just like Linda Ronstadt. I didn't know her, or him, Jimmy Webb, or so it's really, I'm really lucky. Thank you so much for getting me into this, because there's beautiful music to be heard and experience to experience, and it's really, really making me very happy. So thank you so much. This is very beautiful, this tune, and I love, it has a little bit of I think maybe like a southern vibe, but it's just beautiful. I mean, it's very, very well put together, and you can just hear I don't know, it's just very good. Let's leave it at that. Just that last part, that that was very classical, very, and that's what I love about this music, that it does borrow a lot of, music that is very melodic, and it's very nice. And I was gonna say, it reminded me of like the Linda Ronstadt one, reminded me a lot of Elton John. Elton John was a musician that I got exposed to by my mom, because it was very popular. Like Elton John's music was very popular in Europe or Germany, and so my mom had like 2 or 3 albums or cassettes at that moment, and she would play like, I know all the classics like Rocket Man, but there's some stuff like, for example, the marathon that I did of Elton John for Jose. I hadn't had heard, not, I mean, there's so much Elton John, I guess, just like the super, super, super hits. But it reminded me, like, when they take it up an octave and stuff and make it like a point, Okay. Beautiful. This was great. I loved it. I'm definitely going to listen to all this again, analyzing the lyrics a little bit more. Okay, so this one is a longer one. This is from Richard Harris, MacArthur Park, and I've seen there's a lot of Arthur Park versions. Donna Summer and him. So let's just go like the one that JK wanted, of course. And let's pay a lot of attention here to the lyrics. It's very lyric heavy, as I'm seeing. So let's read along. And but I'm also still gonna, of course, pay attention to the music. Here we go.
Spring was never waiting for us, girl. It ran one step ahead as we followed in the dance. Between the parted pages, and we're pressed in love's hot-fevered iron like a striped pair of pants. MacArthur's Park is melting in the dark, all the sweet green icing flowing down. Someone left the cake out in the rain. I don't think that I can take it, 'cause it took so long to bake it, and I'll never have that recipe again. Oh no. I recall the yellow cotton dress foaming like a wave on the ground around your knees. The birds like tender babies in your hands, and the old men playing checkers by the trees. This park is melting in the dark, all the sweet green icing flowing down. Someone left the cake out in the rain. I don't think that I can take it, 'cause it took so long to bake it, and I'll never have the recipe again. Oh no. There will be another dream for me. Someone will bring it. I will drink the wine while it is warm, and never let you catch me looking at the sun. And after all the loves of my life, after all the loves of my life, you'll still be the one. I will take my life into my hands, and I will use it. I will win the worship in their eyes, and I will lose it. I will have the things that I desire, and my passion flow like rivers through the sky. night. Oh, after all the lows of my life, I'll be thinking of you and wondering why. MacArthur Park is melting in the dark. All the sweet green ice ain't flowing down. Someone left the cake out in the rain. I don't think that I can take it, 'cause it took so long to bake it, and I never had that recipe again.
Okay. I totally forgot how I forgot to pause. I'm sorry, but well, you know, what a great song. Very confusing. I honestly didn't get the lyrics at all. I had to look it up. I was reading along. I think the second like movement or the second part of the song is amazing, really cool. It was the way it was arranged and stuff, but it actually, like, now I'm reading into it here, like interesting facts about MacArthur Park. So basically, the length was done on purpose, as almost like as an FU to the record companies, because they wanted shorter songs like the ones we were listening to. So he purposefully made it over 7 minutes. Now, a lot of people are like, what are these lyrics about, especially about the cake and the rain, right? It says here, listeners the world over were confounded by the lyrics and drove themselves crazy trying to decipher its meaning. The songwriter himself had this to say regarding the infamous "cake in the rain" lyric. And basically what he's saying, it's about a girlfriend of mine, right? Susie Horton. Let's see. So that's what I thought, but also when I first heard the cake and the recipe, I was like, what is he singing about? So I guess it's up for debate, you know. I guess it's whatever you make of it. It says here, and there you have it, straight from the horse's mouth. Susie Horton may have broken Webb's heart when she ended the relationship, but in doing so, she indirectly gave the words to MacArthur Park. So, and then there's some interesting facts. Donna Summer made a disco version. Let's see. Many other artists have created cover versions of the song. Some examples are country singer Waylon Jennings, Tony Bennett, and the Four Tops. Richard Harris was actually an actor and was much more successful at that than he ever was as a singer. I'm sorry. Well, it doesn't really matter. I mean, final thoughts. It says Jimmy Webb wrote MacArthur's Park, and Richard Harris was the first one to record it, although many artists have covered it since. Yada 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 yada. Well, I think it was a great song. It was a great. The meaning is at the end, like up for whatever you want it to be, I guess. I like it as a as a love song. I think it had great lyrics, very confusing ones, you know. I mean, sometimes like yes lyrics don't make any sense at all just because they sound cool, like, you know, John Anderson has said. I don't even know what I'm singing about, but it sounds cool. So, you know, but I mean, clearly here it is about a breakup or just some kind of, you know, unhappy in love. But yeah, the thing about the cake, I would pre-internet would have been like, what is, you know, what is he saying? But I mean, I think it was a great tune, beautiful composition, and a great singing, you know, just the song, the phrasing, and it was it felt very romantic. And then the second part felt very, almost kind of like progressive. It had some different time signatures there. Very interesting. So all in all, great stuff. Great marathon as always, JK. You always, you know, knock it out of the park, home run. But I mean, literally all of you guys. I mean, I've heard like, you know, I've had complaint maybe like once or twice or maybe 5 times in 2 years where I'm like, okay, this is literally like shit, you know, like I would not listen to this. It happens, but it happens not very often because you guys just don't send me bad music. But I would be very honest. I just did a marathon before this and I heard something by Frank Zappa and I didn't like it at all. It was choppy, it was dirty, it was not good, you know, but that's just my opinion. Maybe it was a masterpiece for somebody else, but as a guitar player who spent 8 hours a day, you know, trying to perfect technique and to try to play clean and stuff, I don't appreciate when someone just like goes at it and you know, and it sounds like shit, you know. So that's my opinion. But, you know, everybody has their own, but this is NicknLex's opinion. so thank you so much again. I hope you did enjoy the marathon. Thank you so much for being here. You know, like I said, for liking the video. You can dislike the video, no problem. Yeah, thank you so much for your comments, for your honesty, and also for keeping it civil and peaceful in the comment section. I do appreciate it. Most of the comments are very positive, and that's what we try to do. We try to have fun, appreciate music, and, you know, be thankful. So thank you so much. See you in the next one.